For centuries, the scientific consensus about life on Earth was simple. It was static. This worldview, known as teleology, held that every organism was perfectly engineered by a divine creator for its specific environment, placing humanity at the apex of a fixed natural order. Young Charles Darwin was an unenthusiastic medical student and a reluctant parson in training, operating entirely within the boundaries of this rigid orthodox system. He showed more interest in beetle collecting and country sports than in challenging the status quo. In 1831, his trajectory shifted when he joined the HMS Beagle as a gentleman naturalist. The ship began a 5-year global survey to chart the coastlines of South America, taking Darwin far from the settled academic answers of England. By leaving the comfortable world of 19th century theology and stepping into a harsh physical reality, Darwin encountered evidence that would force him to question the ultimate origins of life itself. While observing the Andes, Darwin applied the principles of Sir Charles Lyell, who argued that massive geological changes result from slow, incremental processes. Darwin began to suspect that if the Earth itself changed over eons, the life upon it might do the same. In the Galapagos Islands, he documented biological anomalies that supported this idea. He found that isolated environments had produced uniquely adapted species of finches and tortoises, each varying subtly to exploit specific local food sources. These observations presented a major conflict. Geographic and biological variation pointed to a mechanism of blind mutation, directly contradicting the orthodox model that species were created once and remained immutable. Darwin realized that challenging an entrenched dogma required the weight of an undeniable empirical case file to move his findings beyond the realm of a radical hypothesis. Darwin retreated to Down House, seeking a quiet, rural existence to secretly synthesize his global data. For 2 decades, he battled chronic illness and personal grief, obsessively gathering proof to support his emerging theory. His labor was exhaustive. He conducted years of selective pigeon breeding and produced a 4-volume taxonomy of barnacles, demonstrating that even the most mundane creatures exhibit the constant variation required for evolution. This diagram illustrates natural selection. The environment acts as a filter. Only those suited to their surroundings survive. This bottom-up process replaces divine design, showing how species descend from common ancestors in a branching tree of life. This 20-year period of rigorous data collection established evolutionary theory as a mechanized and testable science, grounded in empirical evidence rather than philosophical speculation. In 1858, Darwin received a manuscript from Alfred Russel Wallace, who independently deduced the same mechanism of natural selection while working in the Malay archipelago. The 2 naturalists presented their theories jointly, prompting Darwin to condense his research into On the Origin of Species. Published in 1859, the book immediately triggered an intense intellectual cross-examination across the globe. Adversaries like the anatomist Richard Owen argued that the similarities between species reflected divine archetypes rather than common descent. Owen fought to maintain distinct biological boundaries between humans and the rest of the animal kingdom. To defend his work, the shy Darwin relied on a circle of allies, most notably Thomas Henry Huxley. Known as Darwin's bulldog, Huxley aggressively litigated the theory of natural selection in the public arena, most famously in the 1860 Oxford evolution debate. Despite fierce social and religious friction from his critics, the sheer volume of Darwin's empirical evidence proved impossible to ignore. His empirical case eventually overwhelmed the opposition, cementing the theory's survival within the scientific community. Darwin's legacy is often obscured by common misconceptions. He never wrote the phrase survival of the fittest, nor did he promote brute force competition as the natural state of humanity. Political theorists later hijacked his framework to create social Darwinism, a false ideology used to justify inequality and imperialism. This misapplication of biological natural selection to human society has no basis in Darwin's actual research. In truth, Darwin's biological verdict on humanity focused on the evolutionary success of social instincts. He concluded that empathy, cooperation, and maternal affection are humanity's most significant survival advantages. For Darwin, morality was a biological adaptation. His findings suggest that aiding the weak and fostering community cooperation strengthens a species, making altruism a core component of evolutionary success. Darwin died in 1882 and was buried in Westminster Abbey, resting alongside the titans of British intellect. This state honor reflected a final recognition of his role in defining the modern understanding of the natural world. His discovery that fitness is a measure of environmental alignment rather than absolute power provides a model for resilience outside of biology. This principle suggests that in organizations and careers, success depends on the ability to pivot and embrace incremental change as environments shift. His work proved that humans are intertwined within nature's ecological web, rather than existing above it. This realization remains a foundational pillar for modern environmentalism and our understanding of our place in the universe. He was a tireless empiricist who prioritized truth over his own comfort, continuing his research through decades of illness and social controversy to uncover the mechanics of life. Darwin provided the evidentiary framework required to navigate our future by uncovering the deep, interconnected history of our biological past.